not so sure if it's a war that we're headed for. But there is talk of a tariff. What did you call it? A tete-a-tete?
Uh-huh.
That's a good pull.
I tried.
I was surprised you knew that one.
Now, don't pull that broomhead malarkey with me.
No,
you
I
know
didn't.
that I know words.
You have some of the best words. Nobody has better words than you.
Grammar, not my friend, but I know words.
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
Me no word.
Me no words.
So the tete-a-tete, tit for tat. Mexico says, "Oh, you're going to tariff us?
Oh, we'll tariff the heck out of you."
Oh, Pablo, what is Spanish for tariff? El taxica.
El tariff.
El tariff. Omar tariff. Mm-hmm. All right, very good. So a tariff war potentially brewing between the United States and Mexico. So Mexico's got a new president, right? Mm-hmm. Claudia Sheinbaum, right?
Yes.
And she says, listen, I'll just talk with the president-elect. That's fine.
They had a good talk,
But
too.
if I have to, I'll pull out the mom card and say, no. That's what she's saying. Trump says he wants to start putting tariffs on goods from Mexico.
25% tariff because the border is not in the state that he wants it to be in. And until it is, he will put a 25% tariff in place that could go up to 100% if Mexico does not clean up their part of the border, halt the flow of migrants and drugs that are coming into the U.S.
You know what's weird, though, is that during his administration, they passed the replacement for NAFTA, the USMCA, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement.
Oh, I thought it was the SHAFTA.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So the USMCA was signed by Trump. It was proposed by his administration, and then it goes through. And now he's saying, "No, we're going to do tariffs." Mm-hmm. Wow. So are we going to start we're going to start taxing Mexico, which of course they're going to pass on to us. Mm-hmm. Mexico is then going to start taxing American goods, which of course they're going to pass on to their citizens. Mm-hmm. And in the end, who gets all that money? Aren't we just swapping money back and forth? Listen, I've always had this issue with, and I know why we do it, but it always seems strange to me that we charge government workers income tax. Because we pay them with income tax or property tax or whatever, right?
Yes.
Isn't it weird that it's tax dollars, for instance, tax dollars paying police officers?
Well, if we have to pay an income tax, why wouldn't they?
Because it's literally, here's our money. You're giving them change. Their income tax dollars from their paycheck.
Yes, are the money from us.
But also from them.
Yes.
So that's weird to me. It seems, and I know why they do it. It's for exactly what you just said. Well, if I have to pay property tax to pay for my fire and medical, why shouldn't fire and medical have to pay property tax?
Yeah, do you think they're going to sort it out so that there's some exemption for them? Can you imagine how complex that would get?
It would. But isn't it a little bit strange that we're charging property taxes to police officers who are being paid with property taxes?
Yes.
So they have to pay in to pay themselves. That seems just redundant. In the same way, we're taxing Mexico, or we're talking about it, offering tariffs, to start taxing Mexican companies, which are then going to pass the costs on to us, so that they can tax American companies, which are then going to pass the costs on to the Mexican citizens. For what reason? So that the governments can get more tax dollars from each other? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that sounds great.
And it will ultimately just cost the citizens of those countries more money. Because like you said, they just tack it onto the cost of the goods.
Of course they do.
The countries themselves really don't pay the price.
This is why, and it's not right. It's inaccurate, but it's why the Harris campaign near the end was trying to break down the tariff stuff and say that it was a Trump sales tax, that he wanted to institute a national sales tax. That's not what was going on, but what they're saying is if he implements the tariff plans that he's proposed, then that's going to be passed on to you in the form of higher goods, higher prices, and then Trump was talking about reducing or getting rid of a number of different income taxes, like overtime, tipped workers, that sort of thing.
It feels like a sibling rivalry, too.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mexico's economic prime minister said, if you put 25% tariffs on me, I have to react with tariffs.
Have to.
So it's like if I throw a punch at you and hit you in the shoulder,
Yeah.
you're like, Joe, you know how this is going to go.
Right.
I'm going to hammer you back,
Right.
and I might not swing for the shoulder.
Right.
I might catch you in the schnoz. I might hit you right in the jaw.
In the kisser.
But I have to come back at you with Jack Johnson.
That's exactly what it is.
So
And then we go, oh, you punched me in the face. Now, all right, here's your 100%
now I'm going to have to
sales
stab
tax.
you.
Right.
Yeah. Mexico's economy minister said, structurally, we have the conditions to play in Mexico's favor. Trump says, well, we're going to play this in our favor. You're going to clean up the drugs. You're going to clean up the flow of migrants. Mexico says, oh, yeah? We'll show you. And the quote that really worries me is this economy minister said last week how the government should respond to Mr. Trump's threats. He pointed to his own experience at that time, and he said, with cold blood and intelligence.
Oh, okay.
So you come at us, we'll come at you.
So this is where I get a little bit. Obviously, you're hearing the skepticism in our delivery here. But there is this little bit of me that goes, Trump loves the fight. He's a counterpuncher. He loves the business fight.
Is
right?
it jockeying and posturing too?
It is, but he's usually very good at that.
Yeah.
What we don't know, though, is how good is he going to be? Because, frankly, there's a number of people in Mexico that operate, and the United States, that operate with the we don't care attitude. So it's sort of you're up against a group of people that are saying scorched earth is fine with us. So then what do you end up with? A lot of scorched earth.
Well,
but do we have more earth to scorch?
We did see this play out.
Metaphor went weird fast. Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
In like 2018, 2019 as well, when Mexico went through a change in presidents, and eventually they did militarize more of the border, and Mexico did cave in a way to the U.S. and what Trump wanted, and they did start to clean things up, and it did work out okay.
Okay.
But because it worked out okay
With
8
AMLO,
or so years ago,
Yeah.
is it necessarily going to work out the same way now?
Yeah, and also we had a pandemic that hit right after that, too. You said in 2019, 2020?
I think like 2018 to 2020.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nieto was in charge, and then AMLO took
Okay.
over. Yep.
Yeah. So, be curious to watch this one. I guess just grab your popcorn and keep an eye on it.
Well,
don't know
and
what to
your
do with this.
checkbook, because what is the price you and I are going to have to pay when we head to the grocery store or
You mean we might see an increase in our...
Avocados from Mexico.
This could devastate the guacamole market.
you're the worst.
Or as my very white father says, the gamma-coles? I don't really like that stuff.
Avocados from Mexico.
I promise I did not know that Chris was going to do that.
I say, hey, Dad, what do they make that gamma-cole out of? And he says, they make it out of that Adivocos.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. You know what he said to me this week? A little tangent here for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
He had never heard of a javelina before.
Oh.
So Pops is visiting. My mom and dad are in town. They're visiting. He'd never heard of a javelina before.
No,
And he says, what are they? I go, they're like big, ugly, stinky hogs.
like a nasty boar.
And he said, well, but what are they? I mean, are they in like the Amarillo family? And I said, the what? He says, like, are they like Amarillos? And I went, yes. They're from just north of Lubbock. That's exactly right, Dad. And he says, no, you know what I mean. And he looks at me and goes, you know what I mean. The animal, the Amarillos.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, yep, they're exactly like that, Dad.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.